Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the HORUS Heresy. I'm your host David Brains, and I'm pleased to announce we are joined again by Nick and Jamie. Thanks guys for coming along. Now hopefully you have watched the first game in this three-part mini-series, and that was where the Imperial Fists have boarded a suspected Dark Mechanicum ship, and we had 500 points of just breacher action going up against the potential Dark Mechanicum, I guess. So that game was it was a very small board. It was very narrative driven. You know, we had the Imperial Fist charging up a corridor to get to some doors, but unfortunately, Nick, the Fist didn't make it to the doors, did they?
No, they didn't manage to breach all the way in, but we did secure the console.
Yes,
which is going to aid us in this game.
Yes,
Hopefully,
yeah. So what happened is that Nick secured a console, which gave you an additional stratagem point.
Yep.
And Jamie, you gained a stratagem point for defending the main access way, didn't you?
Yep.
Great stuff. So the way it works in Zone Mortalis is you get a stratagem point per 500 points. We're paying 1,000 points today.
Yep.
2 stratagem points plus the one gained from the previous game, so you've got 3 stratagem points to spend this game. So what we've gone for a 3x3.
3x4.
3x4. We've gone 4-3x4. We've defined the deployment zones and the stratagem points. Jamie, you've brought barricades, is that right?
I've done barricades and booby traps. Basically, with me holding the doors, in my head I've done it that I've held them up long enough that my guys behind have managed to set up a bit of preparation. So you've got 3 lots of barricades in there for one stratagem, and then the other stratagem I've got booby traps, which is 6 token markers. Any model that moves within 2 inches of that marker, you roll a d6. On a 1, nothing happens, it gets taken away, it's a dud. And a 2 to 3, nothing happens, that's turns, but it stays in motion.
Mm-hmm.
And then a 4, 5 or 6 explodes with a strength 4 AP5 large blast.
Yeah.
So they're quite good, especially if I'm defending this game. The way we've run it, it's very much a denial to stop them moving towards me. And again, because it's Cold of the Void.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
Well, this is it, because we are playing Cold in the Void this turn. Anything strength or above has rending, and anything with a blast marker has shred. So those booby traps are in fact strength 4 rending with shred. So they're pretty cool. So Nick, your stratagem, what have you gone for?
I've gone for the reserve one where you get
sustained attack.
Sustained attack. That's the one. Basically, I pick a squad. I don't tell anyone, but that squad, when it's destroyed or falls back, can be removed, and then it comes back on next turn as part of the reserves. So at full strength.
So for you at home, on the bottom of the screen is the unit that Nick has nominated to come back when it is destroyed, so you can see that, but obviously Jamie doesn't know that. So that'll be quite a secret squirrel one as well.
Yeah.
Super secret.
Yeah, super secret. Now also, we are using blip tokens in this game. So the Mechanicum will have the blip tokens. So the theory behind that is that the Mechanicum have got lots of CCTV around Zone Mortalis, so they can see the Imperial Fist coming, but the Imperial Fist can't see what Mechanicum units are behind the corner or behind doors.
That's right.
So you guys at home will be able to see the blip tokens, and Jamie will write down on a piece of paper what unit is represented by the token. So what happens with that? Let's say, for example, this blip token is here. Obviously, if you flick through a door here, we can't see. And then as soon as the door is revealed, the blip token is then turned up, and that will reveal the unit underneath. So it's a little bit of a surprise for Nick.
Yep.
You know, he's kind of feeling his way through this Zone Mortalis, and he doesn't know what to expect. So it'll add a little bit of an element of surprise as well, which I think is quite cool. As mentioned, we are using Cold in the Void, which is pretty good for you, Nick, really, isn't it?
It's very beneficial for me.
You've got a lot of bolt guns.
A lot of bolt guns, and I've got a lot of void hardened armour, because it doesn't affect anything with a 2+ save or void hardened armour, which breachers get, and my characters, my delegatus, my sergeants, they're all got artificer armour.
Yeah.
So they're immune to it as well.
And also being void hardened, you get to reroll your save against blasts as well.
That's a general hardened armour.
Yeah, so that really helps.
Yeah.
So that'll help with those booby traps as well.
Booby traps,
flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, flamers.
It's good stuff. So we are playing on a bigger board. We've got more models on the table now. In Zone Mortalis, it tends to use a thing where you put half your models on, then you roll for reserves. We're not doing that because I think sometimes when you play games, you get half your forces up, half of it's not, and it's just a bit disjointed.
Stuff gets very slowed down, especially if it's infantry.
That's right.
Slogging on from the back.
So we're just gonna deploy both armies straight down on the board. And Nick's objective is that he has to secure computer terminals, because you're trying to recover as much data out of this ship as possible. So if you start your turn in contact with a console, we'll write that down, and at the end of the game we'll roll on a chart, and then that will dictate whether the data obtained by the Imperial Fist is good, whether it's corrupt, and then whether that garners 1 victory point or 2 victory point. And for Jamie, for every console that is not accessed by the Imperial Fist, you will roll on the same chart, and you can do that too. Other victory points we have in play are kill points and slay the warlord. So it's all to play for.
Absolutely.
So Nick, you're recovering data. Jamie, you want to keep your secrets all to yourself, because there could be potentially some Dark Mechanicum information on there, who knows.
Never.
So we're going to get straight onto this. We, at the moment, Imperial Fist have first turn, is that right?
Yep.
Jamie, keen for a seize, or?
I don't mind at the moment, because if I leave it, he's got to advance again. He's got to move towards me. I might just leave it and let me have the last turn to do what I want and get what I need to do.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So we'll see. I'm not really that bothered at the moment.
Great stuff. All right, we will get models deployed and we'll get on with it.
Mechanicum 1000 points, Zone Mortalis force. For my HQ, I've got my Magos Dominus. He's got an Aberrant, a Cyber Familiar, and a Machinator array, and I've left him pretty standard at that. Just he's quite buff. He doesn't really need much extra, because he gets the free Infernus pistol and the free Flamer, and the higher toughness, and it will not die. So it's about all you need, really. I don't need to give him much more. For my elites, I've got the Tech Priest Auxiliary unit, which has got an Adept. He's running a Volcate Charger, and I've given him the bonus where he can give +1 Feel No Pain to the Frow's unit in front of them. All the Tech Automata that's with him have got multi-melters, so there's 4 multi-melters in that unit, because it's a nice good punch. It's all rounded, but it's something I normally run. In front of them, you've got a Troops Choice, which is my Tech Frow's. Now with them, I'm running them quite tooled up to what I had them before. They've got Carapace Armour, Induction Chargers, Revenant Alchemy, and the Rite of Pure Thought. So they've got quite a lot of upgrades to keep them going and keep them in the fight. So next I have my other 2 Troops Choices. I have 3 Castellax, all running 2 Flamers on each, Power Blades and Multi-Melters. I've not given them any other upgrades apart from that. They're a punchy unit, and they've got a fair amount of flamers to use in this nice close-up board. In front of them is my final Troops Choice, which is 5 Phalanx. They have Ferox, and that's it. I've not given them the heavy chain blows like I usually do, because in this they just don't need it against Marines. There's no heavy armour, there's no dreadnoughts. Getting the rage and the rending in close combat is all I need.
Imperial Fist, 1000 points, running the Stone Gauntlet Rite of War. The Stone Gauntlet means any models armed with a boarding shield or a storm shield who are in coherency with at least 2 other models get +1 toughness. This doesn't occur if you run or charge, but it's a good healthy bonus. And also anyone with a shield who charges gets the Hammer of Rathril. For my HQ, we have a Delegatus armed with a boarding shield, artificer armour, melter bombs, and he's got a mastercrafted power axe. And for elites, I have 2 bare bones apothecaries. For my troops, I have 2 identical breacher squads armed with 2 melter guns, vexillas. The sergeants have power fists, melter bombs, and artificer armour. For my 3rd troops choice, I have a Legion tactical squad armed with a sergeant with artificer armour and melter bombs. And for my heavy support choice, I have a Legion's heavy support squad armed with 5 heavy flamers and melter bombs on the sergeant. Imperial Fist turn 1 movement phase. The breaches have all pushed forward. We're not caring about the booby traps, so I could have spaced out to avoid getting casualties, but that's not the way I like to play. And the heavy flamer squad has moved up. Unfortunately, I've got to blow the door up, so I'm going to use my heavy flamers to actually burn through it is the intention.
So what we're going to do, we'll go do the first booby trap. So we'll do our d6 roll to see what happens. So it's a 3.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens this turn.
And then one in the middle.
One in the middle is a 6, so it explodes. The booby trap's gone off. It's caught 6 of the breaches in the blast. There is strength 4, AP 5, but with the stone gauntlet, these guys are toughness 5, so it's 5 to wound. I do get shred and I do get rending as well, so let's see what happens. So I've got shred on those two, so we'll re-roll them. So that is that one as well. No, so you've got 2 failed and you've got 2 rending. So 2 good to go.
Okay, so I've got 2 6-ups for the rending ones. So I make 1 and then I've got 2 3-ups for the normal, which is re-rollable because of the hardened armour. So I'll lose 1. Imperial Fist turn 1 shooting phase. The breachers have shot the 2 doors in front of them with their melter guns and blown them up. So that's opened up the left-hand corridor, which has revealed 3 Castellax and a Dominus, which is not ideal, but we'll deal with them in a bit. Then moving on to the right-hand flank, we're just about to do the shooting with the heavy support squad with the heavy flamers against the door. Normally, I wouldn't be able to open them with heavy flamers, but because of the void rule, they get rending, so it's strength 5 with rending. They've also got tank hunter because they're Imperial Fist heavy support squads. So I've positioned it so I can get all 5 templates onto it. So I've got 5 hits going in, which so I need 6s is what I'm looking for. So I get 1, but I've got tank hunter, so that gives me 2. And then I need a single 3 because I need that takes me to 11. I now needed a D3 of 2 or 3 to get a glance. So that's 1 glance. So that's that door destroyed. Imperial Fist turn 1 overview. So we've opened 3 doors, and unfortunately there's a Castellax and a Dominus behind them, which is going to be a little bit of a problem. But never mind. And the tac squad ran forward to secure the objective, which they'll get on the beginnings of my next turn.
Mechanicum turn 1 movement. I've moved my blips up. Nick obviously it's narrowed it down a bit for him, but he doesn't know quite what's what yet. I've moved my Castellax up to the barricades with the Dominus tucked in behind. Closed a few doors behind myself, opened a few doors in other places. We'll have to see how the shooting goes now the movement goes. Mechanicum turn 1 shooting. I'm going to put the 3 multi-melters into the breacher squad in front. So they are, this is skill 4, so it's 3s and then it's 2s. All hits. All wounds.
So it's 3 wounds, so I've got 3 6-up saves. So make 1 but 2 die. But I have got feel no pain, so let's see if the apothecary can come through. No.
End of Mechanicum turn 1. The Castellax are out in the open, which I didn't quite want yet. I wanted that as a surprise. But where they are isn't too bad, and I've still got the other blips hidden away nicely. That'll be a nice surprise for Imperial Fist players next turn.
Imperial Fist turn 2 movement phase. The breachers on the left flank push forward through the door that they breached. Unfortunately, the mine that was on the other side went off and I lost 3 in the blast. Apothecary being completely useless when it comes to that. The tactical squad shimmied over after securing the objective panel so they can put rounds onto the Castellax. The breacher squad in the middle have pushed forward and they're going to melt the door on the left to allow them access to that console. The heavy flamer squad have pushed through and have revealed the blip token for the tech thralls. Unfortunately they're out of flame range, so I'm going to have to run forward to gain some ground. Imperial Fist turn 2 shooting phase. The heavy flamers have run forward. They're hugging the cover a little bit to force the tech thralls to come into the booby trap if they want to put rounds down on me. The breacher squad melted the door successfully, ready to move through and take the console next turn. And the tac squad and the breacher squad are now going to fire against the CASTELLAX. So the tactical squad at the back have got 9 bolt gun shots within range. So we're hitting on 2s because of Imperial Fists, and wounding on 6s, but the 6s are rends. If only I had that to wound, that's amazing. So that's 8 hits, and then looking for 6s. So I've got 2 rending hits, and they'll force Jamie to use his cover save rather than his armour save.
So I'll take my 4 up cover saves. Still dead. So 1 has lost 2 wounds.
Next, the breacher squad's going to fire. So we've got 2 melter guns and we've got 6 bolt shots going into the CASTELLAX. So white dice hitting on 2s, red dice hitting on 3s. That's pretty good. And the red white dice will wound on 3s, and then white dice I'm looking for 6s for rends again. Excellent. So we've got 2 rends and 1 melter gun, so that's 3 essentially cover saves.
3 4-up saves. So 1 is down, so there's 2 failed. So 1 of the CASTELLAX goes down.
Excellent. Imperial Fist turn 2 overview. Managed to bring down a CASTELLAX, so I'm really chuffed about that. I really struggled in the last game to kill one, even with Power Fists in combat. I just couldn't do it. But that's the power of the Void combat rules. And when I did kill it, it managed to explode, but unfortunately it didn't cause any wounds to the 2 other CASTELLAX around it, which is a bit of a shame.
Mechanicum turn 2. I've gone no guts, no glory. The CASTELLAX are going to go for it. They're going to smash through the barricade. They're going to go after the Imperial Fists. They've lost one of their own. They want to start flaming and start kicking and get that charge in rather than being charged. Get the flamers off as well. The Phalanx have moved up to the other barricade. They're there now. I can do what I want with them. I've not quite worked out yet, but I'm sure Nick will see soon enough. The Frowls I've moved back out of the way, so they're not going to get flamed next turn. But they're in the middle of the corridor. They can support either of the units along there. And then there's 1 blip left untouched. Mechanicum turn 2 shooting, so I'm going to start with firing my Phalanx's lightning guns into the breaches at the front. They have shred and they have rending, but because the breaches have the void hardened armour, it's still only a rending on a 6 rather than on a 5, which you would get because it already has rending. So you've got Blister skill 4 and it's strength 7, so it is freeze to hit and it is 2s to wound. So that's 3 hits. And then I'll re-roll that. So that is 3 normal saves.
So I've got 3 3-ups, which I'll make all of them.
All fine dandy. Conclusion to Mechanicum turn 2 shooting. There was 16 wounds on the breacher squad, and because of Nick's saves, there was only 1 went down because of the hardened armour and the apothecary. The squad behind them unfortunately wasn't as lucky and lost 6 guys to the free flame templates. But it does breach them all. It does bring them all together, so I can get a nice charge in there. Mechanicum turn 3 assault phase. The CASTELLAX went in. I did the right fury in my shooting phase, which gave one of the CASTELLAX plus 2 attacks. I hit the breacher squad, and out of all of that I managed to do 5 wounds, and Nick managed to save all of them. Again, he managed to do 1 wound with his sergeant, with the rest failing to wound. So with them being fearless, it's tied combat. The Imperial Fist sergeant managed to issue a challenge, because he has to apparently. I decided to decline because I'd had to swap one of my CASTELLAX with my MAGOS to do the challenge, and it wasn't just worthwhile with it because of me doing the cybernetical rule, with the cyberphagy rule, trying to make the extra attacks and stuff like that. It just wasn't worthwhile.
Imperial Fist turn 3 movement phase. The breacher squad are still locked up with the CASTELLAX. The tac squad has moved across. They're going to push through and secure the objective in this room on the next turn. The breacher squad have taken the fight towards the Phalanx. They're going to put some rounds down into them. And the heavy flamer team move forward to secure the next objective. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, the booby trap went off but didn't cause any wounds. Imperial Fist turn 3 shooting phase. The Heavy Flamer team that moved forward have managed to get 16 hits onto the tech thralls. So we're going to roll to wound. It's 2s to wound because of heavy strength 5 Heavy Flamers against toughness 3. But I also get shred because of the templates in Zone Mortalis, and they also get rending on 6s because of the cold in the void. So 16 going in there. I don't even need the shred. That's 16 wounds. So.
16 wounds. So I can't take an armor save, but I do have a 4 at fear no pain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's it. So you've gone down to the 3 because that's all that Nick can get. So you've got 3 guys left.
The Breacher squad, I've opted to fire their bolt pistols rather than the bolt guns to allow them to charge later on. The reason to do this is I need to take the fight to the CASTELLAX, get them in there and get them stuck in and out of the way, rather than let them charge me. Now that would give the possibility for a reactionary fire, which would have essentially meant double rounds of shooting, but that's a possibility, and that's only if the CASTELLAX charged. If not, I would just be charging them again next turn. But also it allows passageway for the tac squad behind to get into the console on the next turn to help secure those victory points. The shooting from the bolt pistols and the tac squad behind managed to do 2 wounds to the CASTELLAX. Imperial Fist turn 3 assault phase. The breachers smashed through the barricade and into the CASTELLAX. 3 Hammer of Wrath hits did nothing. The rest of the squad managed to kill the one that went down to 1 wound, and then the Power Fist Sergeant squashed the other one on his own. The Delegatus completely whiffed. So that's a stubborn combat, so they're locked up. And then against the CASTELLAX, the breachers held their own, lost 1, but managed to bring down one of the CASTELLAX with the Power Fist on the Sergeant. So great news there.
Mechanicum turn 3. All I've done with my movement is I've moved my thralls forward a little bit just so they can get some shots in on those heavy flamers. Everything else is pretty much locked in combat. All like the tech priest or Zidai, I've just left them where they are so they can multi-melt at the flamer squad and try and get rid of them. I need to win some combats, at least get my monstrous creatures through those breaches. I don't know what I'm going to do about the CASTELLAX. They've just got to try and hold the breaches there as long as possible. Mechanicum turn 3 shooting and assault. The thralls and the auxiliary unit fired at the heavy flamers and left 2 unfortunately. So I tried to charge the thralls in just to try and get rid of them, so it opened up my flank. Unfortunately they got roasted, but it was half expected. We'll go on to the next combats now with the CASTELLAX. End of Mechanicum turn 3. Well, it didn't go very well. The CASTELLAX are gone. The breachers just smashed straight through them. On a plus side, my Magos crushed the Sergeant in a challenge, and they caught this. One of the normal guys caused a normal wound on my CASTELLAX, but I think with the Sergeant gone now, they really just can't hurt him. It's going to be interesting. I think I can get that, but I'm worried about that 3 breacher squad that's just roaming around.
Imperial Fist turn 4 movement phase. The breacher squad next to the CASTELLAX are obviously still locked up in combat, so they're stuck still. The tac squad pushed into the central room, tripping the booby trap on their way in. Thankfully it didn't cause any damage, but they're going to hopefully run to the console this turn. The breacher squad and the heavy flamers have moved forward. The heavy flamers are going to roast the servo automata, and the breacher squad are going to put some rounds in, or maybe run towards the objective depending on how well the flamers do. Imperial Fist turn 4 shooting phase. The tac squad have run in to secure that console next turn. The breacher squad have run towards the objective and didn't quite make it, unfortunately. The heavy flamer squad toasted the tech priest auxiliary, and there's only 1 servo automata left, and I'm probably going to charge him to try and finish him off. Imperial Fist assault phase. The heavy flamer team charged in, and foolishly somehow the servo automata actually killed one of the heavy flamers, and I didn't manage to kill him. Rather annoying, but they're locked up now. And then in the combat versus the CASTELLAX, the apothecary had to issue in the challenge, unfortunately, and was suitably stomped on. And then 1 wound overflowed from the Magos to killing another breacher. So there's only 2 breachers left, but they passed the leadership test and they're locked up still. Imperial Fist turn 5. The tac squad that was in the central room scored that console at the beginning of the movement phase, and they've now moved out into the corridor to get any shots on if the CASTELLAX move up. If we run to turn 6, the Delegatus has broken off and he's heading towards the servo automata to sort him out after the heavy flamer has failed for 2 turns to actually kill him. The tac squad, the breacher squad, has moved to the objective to hold it, and they've turned around to put as many rounds downrange as possible at the CASTELLAX. Unfortunately, the apothecary is at the front now, but I can't move them around enough to get him out of the way. Imperial Fist turn 5 shooting and assault phase. The breachers managed to do a wound to the CASTELLAX with the, thankfully because of the void rule, the 1-shot breaching the armour. And the assault phase, the Delegatus leapt over the barricade into combat with the servo automata, but the heavy flamer sergeant beat him to it and killed him. They've consolidated around there. The breachers, now they're in base to base with the objective. If the game does go on to turn 6, I will score that automatically and get a D3 points. That can't be stopped now. So I'm in a good position, and hopefully that goes that way.
Mechanicum turn 5, trying just to creep up that corridor. I'm trying to get a charge on that tac squad that's come out from scoring the objective. If I can get them, get some points, might claw myself back. Hopefully end this turn so Nick doesn't get that console. Mechanicum turn 5, potential end of the game. I failed the charge just, but then again Nick also failed to get any snapshots off at me. So now we see if the game ends. So I'm going to roll the dice because of your Legion rules.
I've got a special rule being Imperial Fist, so if you want it to continue, you can, and it has to run for the 6 turns. But do you want it to continue?
Not really, no. I'd rather it end so you don't get the console.
That's fair point.
So I'll roll the dice and we'll see if it carries on.
Go for it.
Game on.
Game on.
Imperial Fist turn 6. This is the last turn of the Imperial Fist. The breacher squad accessed the console, so they've scored that objective. They've now moved back to put fire down on the CASTELLAX. I'm not one to play tactically and hide units away when they could be doing some shooting and killing, so they're going to let rip at the CASTELLAX and see what they can do. The tac squad have just shimmied round to get slightly better fire arc on the lead CASTELLAX. The Delegatus has joined back with the breachers as well, looking to put some extra rounds in, and hopefully if they survive they'll come and charge. Imperial Fist turn 6 shooting phase. The breachers and the tac squad opened up and managed to kill the the last CASTELLAX, leaving the Magos exposed. I'm really happy with that. It's another victory, another kill point. So it just remains to see what can be done by the Magos.
Mechanicum turn 6, last phase. We've gone through the moving and shooting. I moved in to try and kill that squad off. I used the flamer and the hell pistol and managed to knock one off using that. I've managed to charge, but I got a crack grenade to the face, which has taken 1 wound, but luckily he's got 3 left. 2 left. And obviously the Imperial Fist offers the challenge, so I accepted. So let's get this on. So you've got your 2 normal guys left.
Yeah, so 2 normal, striking initiative 4. 2 hits.
Yep. A weapon skill 4.
Your weapon skill 4, so that's no hits. So now it's simultaneous. You want?
So it is. I'll do mine first. I've got my power axe. So it's 4 attacks. So 2, and I've got master crafted on 1. No, so it's 2. And your strength, your toughness 4, so 3s. So 1.
1 wound. I've got no invuln save, so he's dead.
So he's dead.
But he swings his axe before, and see if I can kill him. That's 2 hits.
Yep.
Toughness 5.
5, yeah.
So I need 4s to wound. 1 wound.
So I have my 4 up invuln, which he doesn't do, so he's down to 1 wound.
I feel no pain.
I've got his feel no pain as well. Nope.
So close.
So close, but I've still got my Machinator away, so the 2 attacks.
Yep.
Weapon skill, force of 1 hits. 1 wound.
So that's another 1 dead.
One
So
dead.
I lose by 1.
Yep.
See if I run away. I do. Initiative 6.
Catch you and kill you.
You to catch me and kill me.
Well, that's a kill point and the end of the game.
We're back. I think that was quite a close game, I think, wasn't it?
It's brutal.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, admittedly, Janie had one model left, but I think it was pretty close. I personally thought the Mechanicum were going to win this.
I did as well. I know I forgot one of my jet moves. I could have jetted my phalanx back out of the way at one point.
Your jetpack.
Jetpack move. I probably should have done that, and they wouldn't have been charged then.
Okay, that's the phalanx against the
breaches. And I wasn't as aggressive as I should have been with the Frowls either.
Okay.
I could have pinned up those heavy flamers or killed them with the shooting. 20 strength 4 shots. Probably might have done it.
Yep. And Nick, you did pretty well. You hung on, didn't you?
Yeah, I should have left that tax squad in the room at the end.
Yeah.
They would have survived because they would have been well out of line of sight for charging or shooting. But that's not the way I play. You got to be aggressive and push.
It's true. But you also forgot one of your stratagem points as well. You could have had another breacher squad back on, couldn't you?
Yeah, but I think at the time it wouldn't have made a difference.
Okay.
I think it was too
late in the game.
It was too late in the game.
Yeah.
So they may have just been within bolter range for maybe one guy. So it's not a huge loss.
Okay.
But
and Jamie, your booby traps were quite good, weren't they? You took out 3 breaches in the first turn, was it, when you walked over them? I think it was 3 breaches.
The 1 breach on the first one, and then the second one went off and took out 3.
Yeah.
That was combined with the charge with the CASTELLAX.
That was really good.
But then they were really good, but then after that it kind of went a bit.
Yeah, I think the rest were duds.
Yeah,
the rest were pretty much duds.
And I think having those barriers were pretty cool because you charge through the barriers, it kind of all this stuff went scattered all over the place as the breaches went through so that was kind of cool. That was quite thematic.
Very thematic.
Yeah. It was really good.
I might have to make some bomb tokens and booby trap tokens for next time.
Yeah. So our next game is 1,500 points. 1,500 points.
1,500 points, yeah.
So what are you going to add to your 1,500 point list, Nick?
I'm going to definitely get some Terminators.
Okay.
So probably 5 Cataphracti.
Nice.
I'm not sure whether shields or shooting.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I can do shields in combat or shooting. And then depends, but I think some Seekers. Just because they're a bit different. And you don't see that many, I don't think. And I see them as the breaches are smashing down the front and the Seekers are coming round the back, sneaking around, trying to find the objective. Or kill that one guy. But we'll see. We'll see.
And Jamie, what about you? What are you going to bring for you next?
I've already got 2 CASTELLAX lined up, but I'm probably going to buff out my Frau unit.
Okay.
And I'm not sure whether to go with a fast attack choice or to go with some nifty elites, but I'm not sure yet. It depends what I get tempted by next 4-12 visit.
All right, cool. So we should actually go through the victory points, shouldn't we? We should have done it at the beginning of the talk here.
Yes.
So the final victory point. So at the end of it, there was kill points up for grabs.
Yep.
So you killed how many Jamie's units? Was it 4?
4 whole units.
4 whole units.
4 units.
And then you killed 3 of mine.
And I killed 3 of yours.
Okay, so we've got 4, 3. And then you secured 3 consoles.
Yep.
And we did all the rolls, didn't we?
Which netted me 4 points.
Yep.
And then you scored 1. Which netted you 3?
Yep.
2 points.
2 points, yep.
Cool. So the final scores were 7
7-6
to Imperial Fist and 6 to Mechanicum. So
Yeah.
you inched it out by 1. So congratulations, well done, Nick.
Yeah, it was really close. So.
It was really close, wasn't
Very
it?
close. There's a few bits in that where the dice had gone one way or another, it would have been a completely different game.
Yeah, but hey, that's any game, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's just the way it is. So you both brought back some units, haven't you? So Nick, you're the victor. We'll start with you. You brought back your Beecher squad, is that right?
Yeah, they just did well. Both of them. Obviously, one did die, but they held up the CASTELLAX and the MAGOS for 5 rounds of combat. I think it was 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Yeah.
And the other squad smashed through that barricade, took down the Thallax, and then scored the objective at the end.
Yeah.
And I took very little casualties.
Yeah.
Apart from the booby trap to start with. So, they've done amazing work. I really love them.
And coupling them with the Apothecary Rail certainly helps survivability a little bit more.
Oh, along with the Stone Gauntlet. So
yeah,
toughness 5, always with a feel no pain.
That did made it a lot harder for my CASTELLAX. That did.
Yeah, especially even in combat, they were wounding on 3s, which is huge.
And Jamie, you brought back your MAGOS model, is that right?
Yeah, well, it literally just every time it got into combat, it was eating whatever it touched, pretty much.
It was good.
It outdiced the CASTELLAX in combat, if I'm honest. When it got in there, the CASTELLAX were putting out three attacks, and that was putting out 5. Some on the charge, it was putting out 6 because of the machinator array, and it's what it is. Again, it's just it works.
It was good.
It wasn't overpowered, but it just got in there and
And having that machinator array is good because you get an Infernus pistol and a flamer.
Yeah.
So and you can fire 2 weapons. You can fire an additional one with the machinator array. So it's really good. You get 2 weapons to fire, which is really cool. So I think it was a really good game. I really enjoyed watching it. Hopefully you guys at home did too. Don't forget, if you want to see more photos from the game, you can go to the Facebook page and look under the title Mechanicum versus Imperial Fists Hobby Escalation League, I think we call it, or thing. So you can have a look under that title. And obviously if you want to see the models closer up, you can go to both of the Instagram pages. So Nick, you are
Krieger 40k.
Thank you. And Jamie, you are
Get Some Marines 1.
Fantastic. And obviously you can go to the 30k channel Instagram and Facebook page too for more photos. Gents, thank you so much for coming. Great game.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. And when are we doing the 1500? When are we filming that? Are we going to have a little bit of a wait for this one, aren't we?
I think we'll have a little bit of a breather just to get things painted and
painted.
I've done a lot in the last 4 or 5 weeks, so not going painting like mad would be great.
Cool. So maybe a month after this one's released, we might come up with the final game.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then go from there. Great stuff. All right, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We've enjoyed providing it for you, and we will see you in the final game.